Somehow, Darth Maul returned. I'm still waiting for them to fully explain how Maul survived, but oh well, it's brought about some of the coolest Star Wars storytelling, so I can't complain. Anyways, if you're unaware, Darth Maul did in fact survive his defeat by Obi-Wan on Naboo, and he had his own part to play in the animated Star Wars The Clone Wars series. Maul's Shadow Lord, however, takes place around a year after the former Sith's escape during Order 66, and it picks up with him still trying to reform his criminal syndicate. But before he can do so, he must have revenge on the gangsters who betrayed him or, at best, left him for dead. His quest for vengeance starts on the planet Janix, and the bodies left in Maul's wake attract the attention of local police detective Brander Lawson. While Maul and Lawson are at odds with one another, one thing they can both agree on is they'd prefer to handle things under the radar and avoid attracting any Imperial attention. Hey everyone, I'm the guy with no name. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Just quickly wanted to say that if you enjoy this video, show your support by liking and subscribing. Maul's Shadow Lord was created by Dave Filoni and was made by many of the same people who were involved in previous Star Wars animated series, such as Clone Wars, Rebels, The Bad Batch, and others. It stars Sam Witwer again as Darth Maul, Wagner Moura as Detective Brander Lawson, Gideon Adlon as Devin Azara, a seemingly hard-on-her-luck citizen who got caught stealing food to survive, and Dennis Haysbert as the mysterious Iko Diodaki. So first off, can you just jump right into this, not really knowing much about the Star Wars animation or what series do you need to have watched? I would say in a perfect world, you know, obviously if you watched the movies and then also Star Wars The Clone Wars, because that is when Darth Maul is first reintroduced, and that's when Sam Witwer voiced him, and really that leads into Maul's Shadow Lord. But I will say, as much as it pains me, because I think that everyone should watch The Clone Wars, it's an awesome show, especially the further along you get. You could also, if you've watched Solo, spoiler alert, Maul is in Solo, and you could almost approach this as a prequel to that, and really you would be just about caught up on everything. You know, once again, only season 1 is out, so I know they've confirmed season 2. I don't know if there's going to be more seasons beyond that, and who knows how far it's going to get. But right now, yeah, you're not going to be too lost if you know Maul survived episode 1, and also you know that he, you know, from Solo, he was involved in the criminal underworld. But really, you're going to enjoy this the most if you've at least seen Clone Wars. And just so you know where I'm coming from, personally, I've seen all of the Star Wars animated series. It's really crazy how far the animations come, because Darth Maul, Maul's Shadow Lord, I should say, is amazing. It's the best the animation's ever been. And when you go back to like the Clone Wars movie and the first couple seasons of Clone Wars, and then I know they changed art styles going into Rebels and then going into Resistance, but you know, aside from that, when they went to Bad Batch, and then they had the, you know, the different Tales ones, the Tales of the Empire, especially Tales of the Underworld, you could really tell that the animation was just getting better and better. And yeah, it's on full display here. Also, you know, I had high hopes for the show. I was really hoping that it might fill in the gap between Clone Wars and really Solo, but also like Rebels in particular, because there's clearly a lot that happens between those two shows. And, you know, I was hopeful, but I really wasn't sure, you know, could Maul be the lead of a show? I thought he could if done right, but I also was afraid that I feel like a lot of times when shows or movies center on villains, they always have to bring in a worse person than them. And so really they're bad, but the people they're fighting are so much worse that they're practically good in the show or movie you're watching. So I like that they make it obvious that Maul, while he's different from the Empire, he's still a bad guy. He's still, you know, very much following the Sith teachings, and they don't shy away from that. It's pretty brutal in parts. Like, I have a 3-year-old. I've shown her, you know, parts of Clone Wars. We watched pretty much all of Rebels. We're watching Star Wars Resistance now. But I'm not going to show her Maul Shadow Lord until she gets older, because it's just too dark, and there's not a lot of good characters to root for, really. Also, I was nervous about, Lawson, Detective Lawson, how he was going to be. I was afraid he might detract from the stuff we really want to see, like Maul and the underworld and the gangsters and the Empire. But he was a good character, a good addition overall. He was kind of someone to root for, and kind of reminds you of the everyman, and his family provided some heartfelt moments. And so yeah, I liked Lawson overall. And then I liked the other characters. I'm not getting into spoilers, but the other characters I mentioned in the cast also I thought were good additions as well. I think my biggest complaint, and really my only complaint just about of the season, and that's not to mention that it's a 10-episode season, 22 to 30 minutes an episode, which is by far the shortest season we've gotten when you look at the Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, Bad Batch. But that aside, I think my biggest complaint was that it felt a bit incomplete. I felt a bit unsatisfied by the time the season finale came around. And that's not to say it's not a well-written show, because I think it is. And on top of that, there weren't any episodes that I thought were filler, really, and there better not be with it being a 10-episode season. But you'd be surprised looking at some series. But yeah, I think that when you take a step back and really think about the story and what all happened, it kind of could be summed up pretty quickly. And I don't know, I guess, like I said, by the end of it, and I think part of it had to do with it being only 10 episodes, but it felt like I got kind of half a season. And rather than it being a season finale that we had for the last episode, felt kind of like a mid-season finale. On top of that, if I go a little more specific without getting into spoilers or details, I feel like some of the action, while awesome, was sometimes a bit repetitive. There were some lightsaber fights that I felt like kept going down the same way and kept ending in the same way, with basically one character running away and the other one, they're basically all of them surviving. It kind of felt like that happened a lot. And then also some of the action was a bit too fast-paced and almost felt like I was watching it fast-forwarding in a way. And so I think that was meant to make it more exciting, but I don't know, the pacing just felt a little too fast sometimes. Honestly though, those are like all the negatives I have about the show. The animation was superb, the voice acting was great, Sam Witwer as Darth Maul in particular, he's always awesome. I'm really glad they picked him way back in the Clone Wars to voice Darth Maul, because he's awesome, he does a great job, he carries the show quite a bit. And yeah, like I said, even though I have some criticisms on the action, overall it's great. Overall, I feel like the amount of action is just about perfect. There's not too much or too little. And yeah, especially near the beginning of the series, it's the show that we should have gotten with Book of Boba Fett, the show that we were promised even with Book of Boba Fett. And there's some great, gangster politics and action and all kinds of agreements going on that you wonder if they're going to double cross each other or not. And yeah, like I said, even though it was a short season, it's got me wanting more. I can't wait for season 2. I really hope. I haven't heard, maybe I'm, not informed with the latest news, but I really, really hope that it's coming next year and it's not going to be like a, 2-year wait to get season 2. Oh, and I got to keep it really vague, but I will say too, something that has me intrigued is Maul looking for a new apprentice, and I'm really curious how that's all going to pan out. I can't really say much more than that, but other than that, I really can't talk about much else because I don't want to spoil anything, and I don't know how much you guys might know. I feel like the trailers didn't give too much away, so I don't want to give too much away. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you plan on seeing Maul Shadow Lord, or if you already have watched it, let me know what you thought of it, or maybe you haven't finished it, but you're in the middle of it. If you're curious what watch order to do, where does Maul Shadow Lord fit? So including the movies, it would be Star Wars Episode 1, then Episode 2, then I would look up the chronological order to watch the Clone Wars in. Now the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars I would actually watch after Star Wars Episode 3 because they take place during and after it, and I feel like that's the best order to watch it in. That's the most satisfying to me. Then it goes Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, then probably Bad Batch, then Tales of the Underworld, and then Maul Shadow Lord is probably what I would say. Yeah, definitely excited, and I can't wait to talk more about it when Season 2 comes around. Thank you guys for watching. This is the guy with no name, signing off.